Boston has its marathon, New Orleans its Mardi Gras. Britt, Iowa honors Hoboes. Once a year, this small town invites Hoboes from all over the country to drop by for a visit. The get-together largely attracts those who have retired from actively riding the rails and can now look back on their former ragtag wanderings with nostalgia. Hoboes were not always so honored. Hoboing began during hard times after the Civil War, and in the Great Depression, the desperate once again took to the rails. Sometimes railroad police threw them off moving trains. Others jumped rather than face the reception they received when caught crossing state lines.
If we are to protect the public of Southern California from the indigent transient class, they are coming here at this time not for the purpose of securing work, but for the purpose of living on relief, stealing, or begging.
Where's your home?
Chicago.
You ride a freight all the way from Chicago?
Yes, sir.
Well, you can ride them back, too, or any way you can to get back. We're going to see you over the state line. Don't come back to California until you can come in like a man.
Hobo camps are called jungles, and life in them has always been hard. But in Britt, Iowa, the jungle is a place to renew friendships and swap stories.
78.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember you.
Memory that bad?
It was. And now, wait a minute. Every year you get older, you have a special privilege. Every year you will get a little bit better at forgetting.
Yes, I am there already.
Hobos are known most often by their nicknames. Steam Train was first elected Hobo King in 1973.
We got a young goat here, and it's gonna be some pretty tender eating when we get him all browned up here. Yes, sir. We have some of the best music and some of the best food you ever sit down to.
Was you good gal when my train left the shed? Where was you, honey, when that train left the shed? Standing on my front step, wishing I was dead. But ain't
Time has reversed these Hobos' roles. Once they were outcasts. Now, Britt youngsters look up to them as knights of the open road who seem to have lived in a mythological age.
That's my name.
That's your name? Well, this is mine.
Mountain Dew. I was talking to the Hobo Queen, and she says, "Would you like to be Hobo?" And I said, "Sure." And I go, "How do you be Hobo?" And she says, "Well, she pulled out this kind of perfume stuff or whatever it is, and she goes, I acquire you the prince, Hobo Prince," and she put some on my forehead, so I'm a Hobo Prince. And my name is Spirit Belly Bob.
I started out when I was about 16 and had 12 years on and off, different places, working irrigation ditches up in Washington, or cutting pulpwood in New York, doing lifeguard work down in Miami Beach, working gypsum plant in Yuma, Arizona, washing dishes in California, different stuff like that. Worked in the coal mines, but they give me a day shift, and when I went in, it was dark. When I come out, it was dark, and I worked there 2 weeks. I told them when they put windows in there, I come back to work.
How long did you hobo, from when to when?
About, 1931 to 38, something like that.
What satisfaction of being free. Being free in other words, not have to count to anybody for your actions.
As the sun sets, the Hobos gather around a fire, and balladeers recall the hard days of Depression time.
I wander in ashes to ashes, dust unto dust. If the railroad doesn't get you, then the bread lines must. And it looks like I'm never gonna cease my walk.